Hello there, Smite Draft League. Welcome back right into Week 6 in the Divine Division. I'm KingFsher, joined by Ztan, and we got a really exciting matchup going on today. It's going to be Flourish taking on the Seismic Shockwaves. And Ztan, how excited are you to get into this one?
Uh, despite the hour of night for an old man like me, pretty excited. Haven't actually gotten to see these teams play yet. I've had some personal issues going on, so it'll be pretty exciting for me to see some of these guys get in here on the field and kind of see what we got going on. The meta's been shaping up nicely.
It has, obviously. Very excited to have you back. Looking forward to shaking off the rust a little bit. And yeah, meta's changing. I believe this is being played after the last bonus patch, so all the god changes, all the item changes are in effect as well. And there are some that have been really standing out to me, like the huge Ares buffs, some nice magical power items. Is there anything that really kind of pops into your mind that you think is going to be really big in this meta?
Um, the Ares buff was definitely pretty big. I've been seeing a good bit of Ares being played. Good buddy of mine has rode all the way to Masters on the back of a support Ares. Uh, he's performing. He's performing very well. Not too surprised to see the Marty ban still coming out, but I don't know how many times I've heard casters say this. I don't know how many times I've said it. The god's still absurd. Uh, no getting around it. He's nuts.
Absolutely is, and it always leaves open a lot of other gods that have been really performing well this season. I think my mind always drawn to the assassin, things like the Thor, Ravana, even Ratatoskr, who's really been seeing a ton of play, especially in these lower divisions. Unstoppable and Divine, a very, very popular assassin right now. But one of the most popular taken right out with the first ban, Flourish. Go ahead and take Callie away. And do you like that ban? We see it all the time. I've only seen it played like once this season.
I mean, at the end of the day, Kali is one of those gods. And especially with how she's performed recently, once once you hit your 20-25 minute mark, the god performs well, regardless of what you have done to her for that previous 25 minutes. She has the capability to absolutely kill your backline and get away with it. She is so hard to stop. I don't blame him.
Pretty astute. Cali late game, just somebody that you do not want on the enemy team. Somebody that Seismic Shockwaves don't want. This Sun Wukong, we don't really see that band in the top phase a lot, but I really like it from them. Obviously, a very, very strong solo laner. Probably one of the most kind of textbook warriors, hey, we're going to bully you out of lane and punish your backline 25 minutes in. Not too many people to do it better than Sun Wukong, and of course, Facebook Demon over there is a very, very strong solo laner, but so is SwagMaster, so interesting to see what happens. You had your buddy Q all the way up to Master, is not going to happen this game. Ares taken off the table by Flourish. I think it's probably a very smart ban.
Something that buddy taught me, by the way. I just learned this recently. Maybe some of you at home don't know this. Prophetic Cloak counts towards Ares' passive as an aura item and gives him power before it's stacked.
Little fun interaction right there. But of course, aura items just always so good for the team, no matter kind of what form you're getting them in. So I'm sure Ares very, very happy to build that one, but not going to happen today. No more power for the supports. They have enough kills on the season already. They probably have like 4, and that's about 3 too many.
So, moving into this first pick here, you've got so many options on the board. Uh the nice thing about the meta and the way it's been recently is that, like, even no matter how many bans get thrown up in your first wave, you've still got picks. And Hades is one that I'm a little surprised to be seeing first overall. He doesn't really get banned out. He doesn't really go anywhere. I would, me personally, I would say Shockwaves could have probably waited on that pick. But Hades is a very strong solo. You have to assume it's going solo. I haven't seen him played in mid in uh,
Years.
almost as long as it's been since I've seen him as a Guardian. Uh,
Ooh, and something now that I think may have been a little bit stronger than that Hades personally. I don't know if you've watched obviously kept up with the league for a long time, you probably heard me say about 100 times. I don't like full damage solo laners. More often than not, that's what the magical ones tend to be. Hades locked in for SwagMaster, but one that's been absolutely dominating yet or lately, seen a lot of bans. So is this Bakasura as well, just taken. But the Jormungandr, every time we see it, I am nothing but impressed. Flourish have got themselves an insanely strong top 2.
I'm a big fan. That Jormungandr, the Bakasura. Now, Bakasura, you know, since the spectral changes and him no longer building crit kind of fell off a bit, but he's still very strong with an attack speed build. You know, those top 2 picks there for Flourish, the Jormungandr, the Bakasura, alone on its own, that is a crazy dive. That's going to require mass amounts of heal, every relic you've got just to survive that.
We mentioned this pick once we saw the Thor brought up, started talking about some of the assassins we wanted to see banned. This one didn't make it onto the list and not picked in the top 3. Really not used to that, but Ravana is going to be picked up. And normally there's a lot of debate on the desk between whether they're going jungle, whether they're going solo. With that Hades, I really don't think there's going to be too much of a question. That should be a Ravana in the jungle there for Ganondad. And another pick that we've really only seen on one team, really, and that's a Geb support. I like Geb support, especially now the ADCs are trending back towards that crit build. You know, they're building Ornate Arrow, they're building Deathbringer. This support in particular going to get a ton of value against those types of players.
Absolutely. You know, the spectral armor is already really, really good. And if you want to shut down crit, you go Geb. It is what it is. Now we do have a Merlin lock in here. Followed by a Freya ban. Now, the Merlin pick, I like. Great damage, great burn on objectives, great lane pressure. The only thing he kind of lacks is the secure, but you can play around that. Now, maybe I've missed something in my time away, but I am looking at a lot of banned magical carries here.
They're really at a little bit of an uptick. The Medusa ban really surprises me, but Flourish, if I were them, I don't know if I'd be banning out that Freya. We talked about Spectral and the crit reduction, and Geb already has that. You don't need much more physical damage on your side. You have a Bakasura that's going to shred through objectives. Merlin on the fire stands does a ton of damage. Something like that magical ADC that really doesn't rely on that may have been really useful, but instead they're going for another hunter that's really come alive. Here in year 10, it's going to be the Anhur, and tell me a little bit about why Anhur is so good into tanks.
Well, you know, Anhur's passive works a little bit like Executioner, just on a much smaller scale. You know, his basic attacks are already going to reduce some protections. You can assume that he's going to build the Executioner, the Kinsai. Honestly, Geb is going to have a hard time. Especially if that Hades is, you know, going your typical kind of full damage play. Geb's going to be hurting because that Executioner is also going to increase the damage done by the Bakasura.
And I love to see this pick because I know where it's right where it's going. That should be a set mid for Reyhum. Felt like we talked about Reyhum a lot in the preseason. Kind of surprised they were down at Divine, one of the best mid laners we've seen across most of the divisions really in this league. So hopefully that's not something like a Ravana solo set jungle Hades mid. I wouldn't like to see that, but it's always possible. Set a very exciting character, and especially going against somebody like Bakasura. Kind of different assassins, but both are very all-in style, so Flourish at Atlas is going to have to provide a ton of peel for that Merlin and the Anhur set. Very, very good at diving.
Yeah, set's extremely strong. He has been for a long time now. You know, he's got great mobility. He's got excellent damage. The ult giving the attack speed uncap, the healing. It makes for a pretty crazy dive from one character. He can do a lot. He can also be CC'd in that ult though. So, you know, if Flourish are willing to play around this pillar and the Atlas grab, you know, the Jormungandr knock up, they've got a chance to shut it down.
And I really like that you mentioned the CC because when you look at Seismic Shockwaves, you know, it's pretty obvious. You're going to have the root from the Ravana, obviously Cataclysm, knockups from Geb, the Pillar Torment from the Hades. There's a lot. When you look at Flourish, outside of maybe a Yorm knockup, you have what? A knockback with On Her or an Abduct with Atlas, and that Atlas going to only be able to do that once about every 10, 12 seconds. It's not very consistent CC, and it makes me a little bit worried because on that Shockwaves team, they're just going to have to rely on pure damage for that initiation, and if Flourish play it right, should be able to punish them, but we're still going to have to wait and see a long time till we reach that point, so let's not delay any further, send it right into game number 1. Didn't take long at all, right back here. And let me tell you, that wasn't what I was expecting. It's gonna be a Hades jungle and a Ravana solo. And before we get at all into this game, because I'm sure it's gonna be crazy just from that lineup, let me know your thoughts on that pairing there.
You know, I'm gonna be real with you. If you had given me 3 chances to answer those roles and put them, you know, where I thought they were going to be, it would have taken me till try 3. 100%. I would not in a million years have thought that. Now, you know, Hades does have the mobility. He has the burst damage, and he does have some lockdown with the Pillars of Agony. It's not the wildest thought in the world. We'll have to see how he plays it.
It's not. As far as a kind of role mix-up could go, it could be so much worse. We've seen a lot worse. So, relatively tame as far as that goes. Hades jungle, something that's maybe utilized in a few metas. Obviously, a lot of magical items did get power buffs, so maybe just feeling a little bit stronger there. iTerminatorr now out of the jungle. Used to seeing them in the solo lane. Might have some trouble, but should be facing a familiar-ish lane opponent. In that Hades, ZakuZz though. Ooh, Set trying to jump in, doesn't find anything, retreats back under the tower. No first blood today.
Yeah, Terminator's a teammate of mine back in the Rampage Smite days. He does normally play solo, but I'm pretty confident in his ability to play the jungle here. Especially on the Bakasura. You know, you're gonna get your farm. You're gonna be all over the map. The pick's kind of hard to fall behind on. I think he's gonna do well with it.
Hopefully should be, and now Bakasura trying to take away the gold buff. Been a pretty hot point of contention. Now junglers arrived. Ganondad is close. Terminator doesn't want to go back in, and the shield buff goes over to the Shockwaves ADC. It feels like we've been talking a lot about beacons for the first fight, but honestly, it's a gold buff. It's always a gold buff.
I don't know what you're talking about. If I see the enemy jungle show up, I'll leave that thing alone. You can have that shield. I'll take it back in 2 autos. You know, we have spoke a lot about the beacons being the first fight, and I'm inclined to agree with it. The beacon is important. That tower damage buff is so huge. You know, especially for some of these kind of turnaround pushes that you see happen. Bakasura on the move, though.
Don't need the tower damage to get the Ravana. Bakasura gonna secure it with the leap. Terminator getting the first kill on the board, and that's exactly why Ravanas don't normally use that CC immunity for the damage. But no, high wards on the right side of the map means it. SwagMaster didn't really know anybody was coming over, in a very unfortunate first fall for the Ravana. And yeah, like you said, beacons, almost always some of the first targets, and it makes me so sad, because we barely ever see early stuff, like the Gold Fury. Still not going to see anything this early, just a purple buff and the Honor not willing to risk their life to pick that one up.
Well, and, you know, I think some of that kind of plays less into being the beacon's fault and a little more leaning towards the power scaling with some of the items. It's not as easy to take an early Gold Fury anymore. You don't have as much power available for it. The beacon doesn't require you to burn it.
Ooh, that's true, but now Gymkhana falling very low. Good knockup by Charybdis. Not going to let them live long. Who's going to get the killing blow? Or neither of them. The rollout might get him away in time, and indeed it does. Gymkhana gets out of there. Now Waaav, with no mana at all, can only sit and poke here at ZakuZz. And now Charybdis taking over to level 5, has the ultimate. I look for something, but just going to wait for now. Atlas ult is online, but Ganondad's here. Pillar of Agony is up, but the Hades not going to want to commit it today. Flourish,
they know.
allowed to just walk away, but FemboyDemon might not. Still has the ultimate, so Ravana going to be a little bit hesitant. Probably understandably, and all over the map, fights break out, and we don't see them committed in a single one.
Yeah, you know, Hades poked his head over there, and Honor and Atlas, they definitely knew. You know, good ward coverage there. Saved their lives by leaps and bounds. If Hades gets in there with that ult while one of them still at level 4, somebody's dead. So great ward coverage there from the Honor and the Atlas. Now, oh my bad, Fish. My bad.
Oh, good. Flourish doing a great job early game with the wards, but Seismic Shockwaves aren't. Charybdis not ready for it. Gets into the maw, might get out alive. Terminator with the leap, gonna shut it down though. Second for the Bakasura. FullOfShrimp just helping out a little bit. Now Demon still sitting under the tower, has the World Serpent, so can't escape if needed. But Ganondad just gonna be looking for that blue buff that's soon to spawn. Now Reyhum trying to find damage. Waaav with a nice pull, but blinked out by the set. More just kind of fighting for the sake of fighting here in mid. Flourish, the only ones to really make something happen out of it.
Yeah, you know, we kind of mentioned the beacons, the Gold Fury earlier. Like, with the way the game's being played right now, there's not a lot to be fighting over right now, unless you're going after buff invades, unless you're looking to get your enemy's camp timers. You know, that beacon's going to come up at 12 minutes. So, you know, we've still got 6 minutes to go before that shows up. You're probably not taking a Gold Fury here unless you get a full solo rotation and manage to get a deicide. It's likely not going to happen. So, you know, a lot of these scuffles can kind of be over nothing, but I mean, you don't want to get bored.
Very true. Boredom could be the killing blow for some of these teams. But right now, it might just be the Bakasura SwagMaster dropping very low. Regurgitate, though, not up, so Terminator without the slow. Can't commit, but now Hades is here. Demon, low on mana, but still might have enough for the World Serpent. Geb as well. All looking for something, but once again, just fall back. Over nothing at all. Flourish remains the only team with kills on the board. And 2 for 7 minutes in, and we've seen probably like 4 or 5 ganks. That is a very, very low number to start this one off. Oh, looking for one.
They're working on it.
SwagMaster falling, has to use a Mystic Rush to get away. Regurgitate down. Unfortunately for Terminator, ult does not come up in time. SwagMaster able to get safely back to the tower. Ravana had the CC immunity that time, and now Bakasura maybe a little bit crippled for the next minute until that ult comes back up.
Yeah, that's the risk you run ganking a Ravana. If you can't blow him up in, you know, half a second, he's gonna get out. The god's absurdly hard to kill to begin with. Unlucky for Terminator there. But the Regurgitate doesn't have a super long cooldown. He's got jungle camps to get. That should be fine.
Should be, and luckily early enough that no real team fighting breaking out, so maybe just a missed gank opportunity or two with that. Not really going to have any impact on the game, but Reyhum still feeling aggressive in mid and on the right character to do so. Set a very aggro player, Cosmic Warrior. Been using that blink really nice, has avoided a couple very, very close tower dives. Or almost tower dives, I guess. Chased him to the tower line would probably be a better way of putting it.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's a pretty good god to be playing into set. You know, there's a lot of mages that will kind of struggle into the set, but you know, set's whole shtick is I teleport in, I slow you, I auto you. And Merlin can just kind of avoid that.
Does a pretty good job of staying out of that damage. And speaking of FBDemon, having to use the World Serpent to get out of the Shrubble in the right lane all the way back to base, but with that tower teleport open, shouldn't be gone for too long. Now gold buff gonna be taken by the on-her Charybdis into the Mata escape. Good contest by ZakuZz, and there we finally see the tower dive. Reyhum picks up the first for Shockwaves. Terminator still close. Gymkhana at full health, but not gonna commit. A little questionable. Looking at those ults, they still have the Pillar of Agony. And I don't know if you know Bakasura, no way to get out of that without the CC immunity. Thought that could have been a very nice opportunity for the Shockwaves, but they're just going to walk away instead, getting one kill in the pocket.
Yeah, I kind of like the call to back off there. Yes, you could have probably killed the Bakasura, but you would have had to have expended another ult. And woo!
Bakasura almost did the killing. Set barely escapes under that tower. Now forced to get back to base, and the ADC is brawling again. For as aggressive as On-her is, and for as safe as the Charybdis is, really not expecting to see ZakuZz push up that far there. But Wave Clear wins a day, and now FullOfShrimp dropping low. Ma used a timeout Desert's Fury. Ultimate not gonna hit. FullOfShrimp with a great timed leap. On-her stays alive in the duo lane, still with no action.
Yeah, those are two fairly safe hunters. I wouldn't expect to see a whole lot of soloing action going on, although that's not stopping them from attempting it by any stretch of the imagination. Femboy is running low on mana here. He may have to back off.
Gonna do just that. Mystic Rush trying to use on the Totem of Skulls. Don't know how often I've seen that one, but gotta love the attempt anyway. Now, game stalled out a little bit. We talked about the beacon a lot this game. I'm sure we'll talk about it a lot more, but spawning in a minute means that hopefully this is gonna be where we see those full teams. And if you look at that tower teleport from the Yorm, upgraded but has used it, so we'll have to wiggle their way all the way over into that mid lane if they want to be a part of this fight. Ravana can just back and upgrade his.
Well, you know, I'm looking at the ult timers, and as of right now, Hades has ult, Set has ult, Geb has ult. Almost every ult on that team will be up by the time Beacon's here. All the ults are going to be up for Flourish as well. If they commit and actually move over to this Beacon fight has the potential to be a real barn burner. Speaking of which, there are 5 members of Flourish roaming around the Beacon side here.
Yorm doesn't need the tower teleport when they got legs. FemboyDemon finding their way back into the mid lane, now 10 seconds away. Ravana, Geb, Hades all making their way forward, and this could be the first big team fight. All the ults are up, all the relics are up, and something's gonna happen. Starts going down to Flourish. Gymkhana in looking for a Cataclysm, finds Reese. SwagMaster getting the damage in the back, and instead it's gonna be Merlin getting away. Changes that in an instant. Ravana with the first kill. Now dropping low as Ganondad, Pillar of Agony gone, but the Hades isn't yet. SwagMaster picks up another, it's 3 for the Shockwaves, and Flourish with only their front line remaining have to back away. The Seismic Shockwaves take the first fight in convincing fashion.
Yeah, I said barn burner, and 9 ults later, excuse me, 8, Merlin doesn't have one, 8 ults later, that was a hell of a fight. And they are pulling the Gold Fury after, as an added bonus.
Yeah, Flourish can't really contest that with getting back to base. Not the team I thought we would see doing 12-minute objectives, especially when I think we talked about it early game, but just the burn on the other side there from Flourish. Very strong, so Shockwaves probably got out of that one lucky and got what I would assume to be their only uncontested objective for the rest of this game.
Yeah, you know, Merlin, as compared to other mages, does not have great secure. He has great burn. However, Merlin, compared to no mages other than Hades, has great secure.
Fair enough. Gonna be better than, I guess, a Pillar of Agony, maybe, would be that confirming move other than that. Just a Mystic Rush about all Seismic has. Now FullOfShrimp gonna get the leap away, knocks up the Geb right out of the rollout. Big Cataclysm beads forced out from the on her. No Desert's Fury means no CC, means no life. No way. FullOfShrimp still alive. ZakuZz looking for the kill. Finally gonna find it, but FullOfShrimp picks up the Geb. And that's twice now we've seen the Charybdis miss some very short ults. But on the other side, Flourish aren't satisfied yet. Looking for SwagMaster, finding SwagMaster nearly. Reyhum picks up Cosmic. It's a 1v1 and a 2v1. But Reyhum gets two, Ganondad helping out. And all across the map, you would think the beacon's still up as 5 members down within a 10-second span.
You know, I was about to say, I think we just saw one or multiple kills in each lane successively. You know, that was kind of crazy. Now, the Shockwaves are wisely moving over to the Pyromancer. You know, as we just spoke about, Merlin was not on the field. That's your time to pull objectives if you're the Shockwaves.
It is, and like to see them taking full advantage. Kills versus objectives is always talked about, I feel like, especially in the mid-game, and conversation normally goes towards objectives, so Seismic Shockwaves really growing that gold difference dead even until about 9 minutes into this game, and now up 5,000. That's a pretty quick turnaround, 6 minutes, and 6,000 gold closing in on. They can continue this pace. Flourish are going to have a lot to work with. We're seeing them on the back foot a little bit now, so talk to me about some of this tower defense, objective defense that's going to come later in this game for Flourish.
Well, you know, the Shockwaves, like you just said, they're in the 5,000 to 6,000 gold lead territory here, and while for Flourish, that's not, you're not quite at like game-ending, you know, gold differential here, but you're at the point where you cannot allow their lead to get larger. These objectives that they're taking when Merlin's not around, they're gonna have to contest.
Now all they're contesting is FullOfShrimp's life. On her, removed from the map, Pillar of Agony, gonna be channeled all the way. Questionable by Ganondad, but it doesn't matter as Terminator falls as well. ZakuZz with a 3rd kill of the game, and Cosmic's next. Beads, Aegis might not matter, but the Merlin with an unexpected blink might get out alive. SwagMaster looking for it. SwagMaster finds it. Waaav now trying to make something happen onto the Ravana, and just might. Jormungandr's here. A little damage online might not be enough, though, from the Demon. Dropping low, has to use World Serpent, and barely gonna get into it. Trying to chase down, Reyhum low, SwagMaster low, and they're looking for a kill. And the set not gonna fall in. It's a huge magic shell from the Geb. ZakuZz finds another. Seismic Shockwaves still have not lost anyone. A delayed deicide, 5 alive, and the Shockwaves walk away successfully.
Do you know what's more obnoxious than Ravana's shield?
Yeah, the shield.
Ravana's shield with a Geb behind him who has shell. That was absurd. That fight sustained out over 30 seconds, and despite some of the remarkably low health bars on the Shockwaves, just spectacular job done keeping everybody alive. We're now in definitively the 6,000 gold lead area. Shockwaves may look to pull the Gold Fury here, although, now this is that contestant I was talking about. Merlin is now alive. You know, if we're Flourish, we cannot give more of this stuff up for free.
Merlin live, Merlin very good on those OBJs. Unfortunately for Flourish, they are down very, very heavily in XP so far. So a nice 3-level lead over to Reyhum in mid, second beacon as well. Gonna fall to the Shockwaves. So now 10% increased damage to those structures. And there's a new item in this game that I think would be perfectly built on Flourish. Of course, Erosion reduces shields. You got that from Ravana, you got it from Geb. We haven't seen it yet, though. Flourish might want to think about picking that up, but right now, they're going to have to think about the Primal Fury. Dropping low, but with 3 members zoning, it's a slow burn and one that looks successful. FullOfShrimp is close. Desert Fury is up. On her, going to use it. Might have been too early. Primal Fury going to fall to Seismic Shockwaves. On her, pays with their life. This far down, though, might have been a worth it move as now Flourish forced to back away again. It's a 1-on-4, but probably on the losing side of that. Ravana's still pretty nasty at this stage.
He almost had it. You know, Shrimp made a decision there, and honestly, I'm inclined to agree. This far down, a Gold Fury kill steal would have absolutely been worth his life. He almost had it. You know, one more tick of that Desert Fury landed on it, and I think he had it.
Would have been close, but now Waaav dropping close to death. Ganondad gonna use the Pillar of Agony again. Demon and Terminator still in the middle of the tower, and Reyhum's gonna get the first onto Waaav. Terminator dropping low. Reyhum has a second. Finally shut down. Cosmic Warrior with a big kill. That might have slowed down the Shockwaves. They're forced to walk away. And a good bit of gold in the pocket of the Merlin. Was at 0-5, now up to 1-5. So, gotta be liking that swing. Pyromans are gonna fall. And I think it makes Honor even more worth it, considering that was a Primal Fury. It just means Seismic Shockwaves are going to do these objectives even faster.
Yeah, the objective burn's nice, and you know the gold would have been very nice. I would like to bring attention to the build path that Merlin is taking here. I've been seeing Tablet crop up a lot. Now, I don't know that I necessarily agree with the benefit of like running it first item versus getting your Toth stacked and getting the scaling and the pin from that first. However, I am super excited as something of a mid player to be seeing Tablet back into the builds, because that means Tiamat fries again, and that makes me happy.
Tiamat, always a fun mid laner to play. And yeah, that Tablet build been getting a lot better lately, and pretty much just because of that Book of Thoth buff. Of course, now more mana conversion, more power means that you're just gonna get more value out of that Tablet, out of that Soul Reaver as well. So the full book build working very, very nicely here for the mid laners. But like you said, it's a build that takes a while to come online, especially when you go that Tablet first item. Book of Thoth, as we see, just now hitting 50 stacks, are going to have at the very least 5 more waves, another 3 minutes until that build gets close to being online. And the way that this game's been going, I don't know if Flourish are going to make it another 4 Seismic Shockwaves. Just looking dominant on all cylinders. But now, it's only 20 minutes in, and I don't think something like a Fire Giant is completely out of the question here. Ooh, but the Jormungandr might be. Demon falling very low. SwagMaster looking for the kill. Might go over to the Hades. Okay, Ganondad just needs one ability and will find it. Ravana might pay with her life. Regurgitate used. Mystic rush away. Terminator now looking for the kill. SwagMaster so low, but it might be a trap. Terminator gets it, but Terminator should pay with their life. The Bakasura gonna be slow, gonna be knocked up, and gonna be put in the grave. ZakuZz gets a killing blow. 5 in a row now for the Charybdis. Seismic Shockwaves walk into left, and Fire Giant the only thing up. It might be an early pull. It's a 4-on-3.
It would make sense to pull the fire here. I would like to see Shockwaves pull it. Well, ask and ye shall receive. They are pulling it now. You know, we see Wave and Cosmic kind of moving up, but it's going to be tough.
It is going to be Fire Giant dropping low, and Seismic Shockwaves able to secure it. FBDemon now does not get into the World Serpent. The Charybdis barely finds the damage, and now Seismic Shockwaves add insult to injury, running it down in a 5-on-4, or 4-on-4 so far. Hades still lurking in the mid lane, but that should be a tier 2 tower in right. Easy up, easy down. The Geb can take it up. And the Charybdis just going to shut that one down. So now only 3 Phoenixes, 2 towers remaining for Flourish. And when you look at the other side, they've lost a tier 1 tower. And now, we've been talking about beacons all game. A Seismic Shockwave is going to pull off. And of course, something that goes with the beacon is the Titans. We haven't seen enough teams utilize them. What do you want to see here from Seismic Shockwaves? Because I would be confident saying they get the 3rd beacon, but it's going to have to wait. I lied. The fighting isn't done. SwagMaster looking low, Mystic Rush away. Cosmic Warrior can't chase out. And now, at the risk of sounding foolish again, now that the fighting's done, what do you want to see Shockwaves do after this beacon?
So, you know, the Titans are something that you kind of see utilized more at higher levels of play, because it requires a lot of planning around the timing, when it's coming down lane, when it's going to get there, what you want to do while it's moving. Now, you know, I have seen teams use it as kind of a diversion to go take fire. I have seen teams walk down with the Titan, and it's really a huge boon to sieging some of these Phoenixes where you're getting 5-man defenses, and that Titan will tank a large number of Phoenix shots that your tanks don't have to be. So if they can get this Titan on the field, you know, the Fire Giant buff isn't going to be active for too much longer. I don't think you'll have it for the Titan push, but they're ahead. They've definitely got the pressure. If they can get this Titan on the field and get it moving down and push with it, they've got a good chance for a bird here.
Titan's now going to be stepping into the left lane. Fire Giant now for another minute and a half here for the Seismic Shockwaves. Like you said, 15% increased damage to the structures. The Titans can tank, but they got to get over to left. A little bit of a slow rotate from the Hades and the Ravana, I believe. Do not see them, or now on left, finding it. And the Titan is going to fall early. Now it's going to be a pick in mid, looking for it onto Terminator. And they've split Flourish well. Only 2 in left to deal with the defense. And they might be at the back foot. Terminator going back to base. Reyhum and Ganondad now starting to split that push into the mid lane.
This is dangerous. This is dangerous for Flourish here. Shockwaves have a near full health Titan running down this lane.
They do, and it's going to get to the tower soon. Ganondad still with Pillar of Agony. Looking over the wall, might find something, dashes in, looking for one. Demon gonna get melted down underneath the tier 2. World Serpent not gonna be successful for the second time in a row. The Jormungandr falls in a 5-on-4. Seismic Shockwaves looking to put the dagger in. The tier 2 in mid is gonna fall. Now full health Titan walking in. Gymkhana's in, so is Ganondad. ZakuZz starting to burst down the Phoenix, and it goes. Runic Bomb gonna be used as well just to secure it. Low health bars on both sides though. Reyhum doesn't care with a double kill. FullOfShrimp picks up one. FullOfShrimp barely living no longer. Reyhum gonna find it. It's a 4-on-1. They got a Titan, but it's not gonna be the end call from the Seismic Shockwaves. I don't know what they're waiting for. They're gonna look for the mid bird instead, and they're gonna find it. Now a demon alive again. Seismic Shockwaves might just have to get out of trouble. Looking for the right bird. Maybe sticking around too long though. The Jormungandr's back, the Merlin's on the way. Ravana has to leave, and Gymkhana gonna be punished. The Shockwaves stay for too long. Flourish now trying to force out. Cosmic Warrior very close. Demon hits the ground. More fighting, more chaos, and Seismic Shockwaves finally do not have any gas left in the tank, and they're gonna head back to base.
Yep. Shockwaves are up 17,000 now. Left and mid bird is down. You know, all you can really do right now if you're Flourish is pray that the Shockwaves do something wrong. And hope that you can, you know, look to take advantage of it. You know, if I'm looking towards improvement here, you know, the Chronos pendant going on the Jormungandr is something that's kind of been bugging me. It's okay when you're ahead and you're not taking these hits like he is, but he's not very tanky right now, and Flourish need him to be. They need him to be able to take these shots, and it's just not enough protections.
The thoughts got to stay in the back of the mind as well. Maybe with a different build, Demon would be getting out of some of these fights easier. Like you said, it's not tanky. That Glad Shield not finding much use, and Fire Giant gonna very quietly fall to the Seismic Shockwaves, nearly taken away by the Atlas, but the only thing can get close enough to contest. Ganondad into the back, Pillar of Agony used, and Atlas falls. Seismic Shockwaves now one Phoenix standing between them and the Game 1 victory. They might just skip it. Cosmic Warrior, the only member in right besides Seismic Shockwaves, move through mid. Phoenix is going to be looked at, and it's miscommunication from Flourish. Only the Merlin is close. Cosmic forced to blink away, uses no relics. Mystic Rush going to run forward. Reyhum gets a kill. Reyhum gets a double. The set mid shut down on 11 kills, and now the Titan is a target. Terminator gets back into the fountain. FemboyDemon cannot be said for them. Terminator still looking to end this, but it's not going to happen. Seismic Shockwaves with one last indignity, and 28-9, 28 minutes in, take game number 1. It's a very convincing game 1 there. From the Seismic Shockwaves, looked really strong all the way through, and it feels like we talked in the pregame about seeing that Flourish draft, seeing the pressure they could bring from the Jormungandr and the Bakasura, and seeing the objective burn, but they weren't given a lead to do anything with it. So if you're looking at game 2, is that a little bit of something you have to change up in your comp, or is that more just, you know, we got beat, let's hope for a better start?
Oh, that is the question, isn't it? You know, if I'm Flourish moving into this next game, the on her pick, I like the on her pick. You know, Atlas is fine. Atlas brings a lot to the table. I think maybe we look to move away from this Jormungandr pick, or perhaps, you know, build it a little differently. Terminator looked good on the Bakasura, but as far ahead as the Shockwaves got, you know, towards that mid and kind of 20-25 minute mark, he wasn't able to achieve a lot. He was being blown up too fast on the dive. So, you know, if that's going to be your position, maybe we look to draft something like the Ratatasker. You know, something that's got great mobility, great rotation. You can also build him extraordinarily tankily. He can get away with a lot that Bakasura is not going to be able to. You know, maybe you look to change up the draft a bit.
I think we talked about the Red Tusker back in game 1 of how it's kind of an increasing pick. Would love to see Terminator on something like that, and another big one for me, I think, would be to get Cosmic off the Merlin. Didn't have a bad game, only died really once, maybe twice in the second half, did the damage, but the fact is, Frontline was not giving him enough space to get that damage off, and as Merlin, you need space, you need to be able to get in there confidently with your team around you, and that far into a losing match, that just can't happen. But something like an Agni, you know, maybe a longer range mage that we could see them on getting their damage off might be a little bit better, but we're still gonna have to wait and see. And on the other side, if you're the Seismic Shockwaves, don't change anything. That was a great looking game.
No, if it's not broken, don't fix it. You know, clearly that worked very, very well. There's really no reason to shift anything. I do like that you mentioned the, you know, Merlin, and then maybe the Agni pick. You know, with the Book of Thoth buff, you know, there's gods like Kukulkan that are now in a much more playable state. You know, you could run the Scylla. There are options that can get off their damage a lot better in some of these fights and have some more escape potential. Because while the Merlin flicker is really nice, it's also very short range. So if you were screwed before you used it, you're probably still screwed after.
A little bit, and we saw that multiple times. Cosmic had a few just really, really well-timed, well-placed blinks out of the way, out of harm's way, but it was too much. Ravana following up, as well as pretty much everyone on the side of the Shockwaves, proved to be a little bit too much to handle. But you know, they've had a bit of an up and down season, but these are very good players, they're very smart players, they're gonna know what they have to do to kind of bring it forward, get this game to win, push us to game 3. It's going to have to be a lot of changes. It starts with comps and maybe even some of their playstyle as well. Maybe more early game aggression. It was even, for like we said at some point, those first 9 minutes, and it all spiraled out of control. Maybe a little bit more control, a little bit more safety. Whatever it's going to be, you're going to have to get through it. Brick wall on the side of the Shockwaves.
You know something about stone walls. Oh, I was making a slap shot reference.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know.
I got so confused. Yeah, absolute, just genius goalie over here. Nothing gets by me,
Oh
nothing at
yeah.
all, and that's why we got mercy ruled. But they're not going to ban something like the set from the last game. It's going to be the Thor instead. Still a good ban either way, even if it wasn't played by the Shockwaves. Seeing how good they did on some of those picks, would hate to see them with a Thor in their pocket.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate to see Flourish ban the set. I I really wouldn't hate it. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot better picks than a set, but especially moving into game twos like this. Reyhum performed extremely well on this set. The god is dangerous. The man is clearly dangerous with the god, and moving into the game two, we know this. So, I I don't hate it if you throw a ban at it.
And on the flip side, if you're Seismic Shockwaves and they don't ban it, I would pick it right away. I thought it was great. I think Set's a great god, and I think Reyhum's a great mid. Seems like a match made in heaven. But talk about mids and how they performed. I think, like we were saying, Cosmic didn't have a bad game, maybe just not all the opportunities. Seismic Shockwaves certainly recognize that. The Merlin, gonna be banned out. I don't necessarily know if it elicits a ban, because Cosmic's a good mid laner, it's a good pick, but if they play like they did in game one, they had no troubles getting to that Merlin in the backline. Hard to imagine they will this time, but Flourish not going to ban the set. They're going to take the Ares out again. And honestly, I still like that ban. Imagine if that was an Ares support instead of something like the Geb. Beads would have been burned on all cooldowns. There wouldn't have been a blink away. No mobility from Flourish. So still a good ban overall in Sun Wukong. So I'm taking away in game one. Not going to be the case this time for Facebook Demon over there in the solo lane. And tell me what you think kind of Sun Wukong right now in the solo lane.
Well, it we mentioned, maybe changing up the solo pick or even the build. And the Sun Wukong pick does exactly what you were asking for here. Yorm was having trouble staying alive. He wasn't quite tanky enough, and there were kind of some issues with him being able to frontline. Sun Wukong solves that. You're extremely hard to kill in lane, borderlining impossible. You're extremely
Take
difficult to
pleasure
kill
in
in
the
team
crushing
fights.
of
Your
one's
dive into the
enemies.
back line is great. I like the pick. I like it a lot better.
I do as well, but we're going to see the Ravana and the Geb yet again. Seismic Shockwaves just looking to run it back. And it's funny because now this and of course the Immortal Shockwaves are really the only two teams we've seen Geb on. And of course, Geb's a mascot. I think it's a dealer that mentions it a lot. Seeing the team spirit, love to see that here from the Shockwaves. And a very interesting mid hover here from Cosmic Warrior, the Giannis. Gonna be hovered, not locked in yet, maybe just trying to make Nooblet smile with that one. A very good mage, and we wanted to see them on something safer. We mentioned the length of the Agni Dash. Giannis can go a pretty long way and through a wall, so kind of best of both worlds there. If this is locked in, still might be questionable to believe it's a high execution god, and when you need CC for, you need to land the through space and time, you need to land that unstable vortex, or else you're just not going to do anything as this character, so putting a lot of trust in his front line, and I really like to see that if it's the case.
I don't mind the honest pick.
You
I don't
shall
mind the
not
honest pick at
pass
all. And
to my
at
home.
some point, I could make the analyst argument that there are better mid picks as far as the mages, but if that's what he's comfortable with, and that's what they've scrimmed with and practiced with, and a god they believe he can perform on, then that's the god you need to go with.
And talk about magical damage. Giannis has a lot. The execution is going to have to be insane for this comp. That shows a lot of confidence. Giannis difficult to execute on, and so is this Freya. But you said it last game you didn't think the on her looked too bad, and I think FullOfShrimp is a really good ADC. That duo lane has a lot of potential,
Whoa!
very, very high skill ceiling, but it's going to be difficult to do on Freya. They are really counting on themselves to hit that 40, 50-minute game in order to see this team comp just absolutely annihilate.
So we've got to talk about this Habwa lock-in.
No, we don't. No.
Uh my predictions are immediately beginning to lean towards the side of the Shockwaves, singularly on this Habwa pick. Freya is unanimously one of the most dangerous gods in the game. Unless you can blow her up before she can do anything about it. Habwa does that extraordinarily well, and he may die for it, but if the Habwa is played and executed correctly, there will not be a Freya there to bug them.
There won't. Now the set finally going to be taken away in addition to the Agni there from Flourish. So probably thinking what we're all thinking, it's going to be another Ravana solo, and it's going to be a Hebo jungle. Of course, still a lot of flexibility in that team comp, so maybe they were just doing that to see what the bans are before they decide. I almost would have liked to see Set instead of Geb there, though. Freya's really the only one, outside maybe of a Giannis floor banish, but let's be honest, nobody wants to see those going against that set. But instead, it might be that Hebo mid, unless it's a Susanoo mid, and that would just absolutely make my day.
No, I was about to say, fool me twice. I'm not guessing. I'm not guessing where the Susanoo, the Habwa, and the Ravana are going. I'm not even going to bother. I tried guessing in the first game and was so wildly wrong that it hurt my pride, and I'm not doing it again.
Well, I don't get embarrassed easily, so I'll go ahead and guess. I would love to see a Hebo jungle, a Ravana solo, and a Susanoo mid. I don't think it's what we're gonna see. I'd love it if we did. And since we're gonna talk about seeing something, haven't seen this one in a really long time. It's gonna be the Nemesis for the jungle. A pretty good jungler, one that's kind of overlooked in most metas, but I mean, you're the chair two here. Talk to me about Nemesis. What do you like? What do you not like about this god?
There's not a lot I don't like about the god other than not having CC immunity anywhere in her kit. I really like her into this Geb. Geb in the first game. You mentioned maybe we'd like to see an Ares. There wouldn't have been any beads there, but I can guarantee you that if we didn't see that Geb, there would have been several team fights that the Shockwaves lost. So if I'm Nemesis here, my objective is going to be to use that ult to burn this Geb. He cannot keep people alive if he's dead.
That is some very, very solid logic. Can't win the game if you're dead. And the Geb, really looking at it, gonna be one of the only tanky members here on the Shockwaves, as he pick a Chernabog to round it out. And I mean, to their credit, the Ravana Ravana solo rather last game, it was good, and Swagmaster built it exactly how I wanted to see. When one attack item in the Gauntlet course, absolutely spacing on the name, Soul Leader, that's the one. Yeah, built a Soul Leader and built full defense. Other than that, I think it's exactly how you should build those high octane solo laners. I've said it a lot, but if we see that again from the Shockwaves, I don't think having the Geb be the main target is going to be as big of an issue. Still going to be one, but maybe a little bit mitigated by that Ravana.
It's possible. Flourish have a very high execution comp here, and I'm going to be interested to see him do it.
Absolutely, it's going to be a really interesting one to watch. Flourish backed up against the wall, trying to force us to game 3. We're going to see if it'll happen. We'll see you back in game for match number 2. Here, back for game number 2, Flourish, trying to put us onto that match number 3. Once again, I'm KingFsher, joined by Ztan, ready to get this going and hoping to see a game 3. Because regardless of what fan you are, for either team, because they're both cool, you just love seeing game 3s. They're just a lot more fun, right?
Game 3s bring a lot of excitement to it, and one thing I love as a player seeing a game 3 get brought around is like the mental turnaround that the team had to do after that initial loss and the changes that they had to make. I love to see it.
Absolutely do. And now Flourish gonna try to make something for themselves. And one pick I'm really excited to see here on the Order team is definitely going to be the Sun Wukong. I don't think either of us really loved the Jormungandr last game. Not too much of a fault of the Facebook Demon, did have some very, very nice moments over there in the solo lane, including getting a little bit of pressure, really a lot of pressure, on a SwagMaster at different times. Be able to do that on the Warrior as well. Now Terminator taking a lot of damage. And we didn't talk about it. I was wrong. You know, I'll take the fall for that one. It's gonna be a Hebo mid. How boring.
See, this is why I didn't guess.
Probably
No,
smart thing to do.
the Habwa mid, I hate and love it. You know, he's a lot easier to play in the jungle. The Habwa mid requires a lot higher execution than the Habwa jungle does. You have to position spectacularly. He's a lot easier to gank. You know, Habwa feels a lot easier when you can just kind of run around the jungle and take camps and, you know, pop in for a gank occasionally. The mid lane's definitely more difficult, but Reyhum seems confident, and, you know, so far we've seen no reason for him not to be. So
Absolutely should be feeling good, feeling even better about that first blood. Terminator gonna fall at the wayside now. Cosmic Warrior able to get away alive. And I think you raise a good point. If it was most other mids, I'd be a little bit worried. But after that, what was it? 11-2 set mid. I think Reyhum's gonna do just fine. Now, speaking of just fine, Freya having the pressure in lane, not something we're too used to seeing, but Bacchus, an aggressive support, might be able to get the stun. Instead, Chernobog gets into the wall, gets away. No early beads here from ZakuZz and the Freya. The magical ADC with the lane pressure. At 3 minutes, Terminator, though, uses a blink out of nowhere. Ganondad might be in trouble. Lands a second one into the tower, takes a tower shot. Reyhum trying to shut it down, and Terminator so low HP. Are we going to see the water spout? Yes, we are.
criminal. Absolutely criminal. You know, as a longtime player, I hate to see health bars walking away that low. It was so close. That was a beautifully placed water spout from Reyhum. It could not have been better. He saved his jungle's life and got the kill in return. Just beautiful play from Reyhum there.
Brings a tear to the eye, but now the tear might be in Demon's Eye. It's gonna fall at their own blue buff. Taken away, SwagMaster gonna pick that one up along with the 5th level, so Mystic Rush now in line for the Ravana, which means Sun Wukong's day about to get a lot worse. Now Gymkhana trying to defend the purple buff as ZakuZz is gonna draw it away. Indeed, the large rock might still not get away. Good stun from Waaav. Getting under the tower though, AoE can only damage you so far, Minion's gonna body block the rest, and Gymkhana still surviving. Seismic Shockwaves though, up 3 kills to 0, already up 1,300 gold, and last game, they were maybe up 100 gold.
Now, you know, we mentioned that I've been away for a little bit, and so I'm gonna ask you a question here. We're gonna go out of character a little bit.
Okay, well, I am a C2.
And I'm gonna see if we know something here that I don't. But is that a Boomba's dagger starting on the Freya?
It is a Boomba's dagger starting on the Freya. Just a little bit extra power as well, obviously. Trying to clear away those minions a little bit faster. Might just find a little bit more damage. Of course, a heal as well, pretty nice, especially since we don't see that early lifesteal anymore. It's on one of the rings now, I believe it's Cyclopean, but not normally built first, and now Gymkhana. Trying to get back to the waves. Freya will be one to keep an eye on, but right now on the offense, Judgment gonna go onto Gymkhana, and so will the kill. Flourish now onto the map, but here comes Ganondad. Typhoon gonna knock up Waaav, gonna knock him down as well. FullOfShrimp dropping low through space and time use. Cosmic Warrior is here, because why not? ZakuZz now takes a little bit of damage, but Flourish walking away. They got one, they lost one. Still might favor them, but they're not done. Cosmic Warrior dropping even lower, gonna be taken out. Ganondad gets the kill. Chernobog to slow. Gonna root Terminator in place as well. So Chernobog now gonna save them, just like Reyhum did earlier. Ganondad really just getting bailed out here by the pack line.
Hey, you know, like sometimes as a mid, as a carry, sometimes you've got to peel. You know, you can't just let your support or your jungle or whoever just get roasted right in front of you. Like, you do what you can to stop it. Love to see that from these guys, man. You know, we did see the Nemesis ult there expended on the Geb, and we did see the Geb go down. Uh, Freya got an assist. Nemesis got a kill out of it. Like, it's a step in the right direction. Reyhum may be in trouble here, though. Not quite. He was almost.
Yeah, step number 2 is killing Reyhum, and that's probably not going to happen for another 20 minutes. If you had to guess, might be sooner. Waaav trying to find the stun and a good knockback from Gincana. Dang, I was wrong. Cataclysm gonna find a stun on a Cosmic as well. And Terminator waiting in the jungle, gonna get seen by Ganondad. Typhoon is online, but not committed. Seismic Shockwaves. Still just hanging around in the mid lane, not looking for anything too big. Gotta give credit to you. You said pre-game right when it was locked in, look for the Nemesis to ult the Geb to burst him down. Exactly what happened. But now Flourish sitting at nearly, I guess only a 2,000 gold disadvantage. They're gonna need a lot more of those style plays if they want to find their way back into an even gold lead. Now Somersault Cloud used by Sun Wukong goes back in. Demon gonna get knocked up. Reyhum gets a kill just because in the mid lane Cosmic Warrior falls. And look at the health of the Hebo. Cosmic very, very close to finding that kill.
Yeah, unfortunate. He almost had it. You know, they're moving in the right direction here. They're trying to take these fights, and you know, one of the reasons that I mentioned at the desk, you know, the Nemesis ulting the Geb. When you have a Geb on a team like this, and he begins to make killing squishies impossible, sometimes you need to play front to back. And, you know, if that be the case, there aren't many better gods than Nim for helping you do so.
Very, very true. Nemesis, strong, really strong in that right. And I think I mentioned it briefly for like half a second last game before just rampant team fighting broke out. And we never mentioned it again. But they got a similar comp this game. They have a Geb, they have a Ravana, they have a Magic Shield, and we saw another one from Reyhum last game, so not out of the question, as I'm going to have to hold on yet again as Demon. Going to be looked at here from SwagMaster, but not enough mana to go in just yet, still waiting around the front of the tower. Mystic rushes up. Instead, it's a gank onto left lane, maybe just trying to bail their team out. Ganondad and ZakuZz forced back. And now, nope, Sun Wukong's still in trouble. This Somersault Cloud gonna be used, gonna regain a little bit of that health. Ravana sitting at about half, and yet again, Demon goes in, finds a stun, won't find much else. Now both solo laners, very low indeed. As nothing more should transpire that. And I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna ask you. I don't care if I get interrupted at this point. Would you like to see an erosion this time from Flourish? I know that I would love it. Well, never mind. Hold that thought. SwagMaster's not done. Neither is Terminator. No chances here. Susano looking for the kill, and Susano might not find it. A great Mystic Rush away. Blue buff invade turns into running beneath the tower, but Demon with a huge cudgel is gonna find the kill. Waaav won't land a stun. Fighting almost drawn to a close, but not until Susano's done. Typhoon is up, the blink is in. Cosmic Warrior gonna use good beads, good timing. Ganondad follows him through the wall, gets the kill, and now Terminator on the tower line looking for something. Nem finds a dash away. Gymkhana still chasing, so is Ganondad. And the Storm Teleport going to be used, pulls him back in. Terminator stunned by the Cataclysm. It's a lot of damage, it might not be enough. Great turnaround slow by Terminator. Gymkhana dies to the tower, Nemesis gets the credit, and finally, the Shockwaves retreat. So what do you think about the erosion?
Oh man, you know, I definitely would not mind seeing an erosion, at the very least. You know, we could progress this conversation further into talking about like the potential need for a Sunder. you know, especially the AoE Sunder might go extremely hard here. A few weeks, months back, I've lost concept of time at this point, but you know, Hi-Rez made the decision with Ravana to revert his shield back to its old numbers. Now, I don't know how many of us remember Ravana at the height of that, but you know, there were SPL games where Ravana was legitimately diving into a 5-man team and not only surviving, but you know, getting kills. It was bringing back visions of season 5, 6 King Arthur. He's back to those numbers now. It's going to be tough to shut down.
And the Gold Fury might even be tougher to steal. Flourish looking for it. Flourish might not find it through space and time. Not at the right moment. Seismic Shockwaves take that one away. Cosmic now able to retreat back through the wall. Terminator with the blink should shut down the Geb. Don't know if the Nemesis ult was necessary, but you know, can never be too safe. Gonna find the kill. Reyhum picks up Cosmic, trying to rotate back into mid. Ebo now, not in the best position, but there aren't many ultimates there from Flourish. Waaav gonna use the first. FullOfShrimp finds one. Reyhum finds a second. Terminator falls. Now the two backliners trying to burst down the Freya. The water spout almost does it. Double-digit health here for the Freya. Still running away, though. Hebo trying to catch it. Hebo will catch her. Reyhum gets their 6th kill of the match, and it's a triple kill. Can they make it a quadra? Gonna be rooted out. Give it to him. Oh, Chernabog. So greedy. Takes away the quadra. Wow, can't believe that. But a very good kill to end it by ZakuZz.
How could you? Great fight there from Shockwaves. You know, Flourish committed a lot, killing the Geb. And Reyhum positioned himself very well on the outside of that to just kind of come in and mop up. And at the end of the day, we now have a 4-level oh my.
Really not too much to say about that one. Terminator caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. Typhoon just gonna lock it down. Susanoo now 4 kills, 3 to Chernabog. In one thing I feel we have to point out, the backline has 9 kills for the Shockwaves. And the backline has not died once. That's gotta change, and it's not gonna change yet. Never mind, make it 10 kills. Reyhum just gets Cosmic for the fun of it. Now Beacon already down by this point, or maybe still being looked at, who knows. Gonna go the wayside. Flourish. It seems like a similar spot to last game, but it's worse. It was about 15 minutes when we saw 6,000. It's now 13, and it's 5,000, but the kill differential is something to be concerned about.
Yeah, the bigger thing to be concerned about is a Habwa 13 minutes in at level 15, 7-0. That is danger territory here. That Habwa is going to be putting out just utterly absurd amounts of damage with a single ability cast to anyone on the map right now on the side of Flourish. The best thing to be done is to stay away from him.
Might not be possible. They're looking to put him in the dirt. Reyhum gonna be in a little bit of trouble here. Banish not gonna work from the Giannis. Finds a huge unstable vortex. So crushing wave nearly gonna kill the Nemesis, and it's gonna be picked up by Ganondad. Waaav dropping low. Waaav dropping back to the grave. Good self banish by Cosmic. Extends a life, but not longer than that. Reyhum gets the 8th kill. It's 3 for the Seismic Shockwaves. It's a tier 1 tower. Pyromancer not up just yet, because goodness knows I'll never get to talk about it again. We got a Bancroft's Talon there from the Giannis. Something I'm not used to seeing, but at 0-6, you know, your team's down. It might be time to mix it up. Let me know your thoughts on that Giannis build. I'm kind of interested to see what you make of that.
I don't really care for the Bancroft's Talon. Giannis is not notorious for, you know, well utilizing lifesteal. He utilizes it as well as any mage, really, but there are definitely mages that can prioritize and use it a lot better, namely, you know, your magical ADCs, Zhang Kui, Anubis. Giannis doesn't really fall into your general category there. It is a nice stat item. You know, not to mention as your health's going down, your power goes up. So I could see an argument for it, especially in a down position like this.
Terminator might need some more power, might need some more health, might need a little bit of both, and gonna have time to buy it all at the grave. Falls Reyhum. Are we gonna see the first death? No, we're not, because it's only wave in mid there. Still has a crushing wave, so Cosmic stepping up might not worry them a ton. Primal Fury gonna be the target here. And we talked about Secure a lot last game. Now Flourish have some, of course, through space and time. Not up at the moment, so Primal Fury will go uncontested to the Shockwaves. But maybe Flourish with a little bit of an ace up their sleeve whenever the inevitable Fire Giant gets pulled.
Yeah, you know, Flourish do kind of have an advantage in that department with the through space and time. They do have the best secure on the map. Now, I should also mention following that with the level disparity that Giannis is facing right now, that Hopwaz 1 is likely the best secure on the map right now.
I think you can probably take the likely out of that. Level 17, 5 items now in line. Well, getting to the 5th item there. Soul Reaver still trying to be finished off there by the Hopwa. It probably is the best one on the map. We've seen it just absolutely delete health bars. Not to mention Crushing Wave as well. If you can land that one, does a lot of damage. Maybe not as much as through space and time when it's all the way up, but it's sure to be dang close. And really feeling the lifesteal now, building into another, what I'd assume to be Soul Gem here from the Giannis. Interesting, but we're going to see how it pans out. Beacon going to be spawning in just a few seconds, about 10 to be precise. Ganondad doesn't want to let Terminator escape. Gonna try to get them back in, not happening yet. Divine Judgment gonna be used. Typhoon with a knock-up. And Chernabog not able to land the damage, but the cavalry's arrived. Cosmic Warrior just needs one more ability. Bacchus can't land the stun. Great teleport from the Susano, keeps themselves alive. The beacon's up and the beacon's forgotten. Flourish pushing this one down, still looking. Now they might have gone too far through space and time, not on the board. Cosmic Warrior needs to find something, but a good shield will dissuade them. Escaping through the purple buff means they run right into Reyhum and a water spout. Crushing Wave misses, but the hands won't. Reyhum with their 9th kill of the match. A second to the Chernabog, and now here come the Shockwaves. All SwagMaster has to do is stall them out. Second beacon still going to be looked at, and FullOfShrimp wisely gonna start falling off, but Reyhum around the back. Uh-oh, this is gonna be big. Gymkhana lands a Cataclysm. Demon locked down for the time being. Here's a Chernabog. Hebo arriving. Hebo getting the damage. Hebo getting the kill. FullOfShrimp falls. iTerminatorr, one of the only ones left up. Somersault Cloud used by the Sun Wukong. Tries to get the Gab. Not gonna get the Gab. Magic Cudgel almost does. Demon bounced around. Demon gonna be slowed by SwagMaster. They might let it go. Ganondad doesn't want to though. Typhoon used. Typhoon knockup. Reyhum chasing means Sun Wukong is not long for this world. And indeed, gonna fall back in. Gonna fall. Now Reyhum, just one kill away from godlike.
So, I'd like to throw back to a minute ago when I used the phrase, stay away from him. And, oh my, Reyhum with godlike, yep. There you have it. You know, at this point, yes, stay away from the Hopwa is the name of this game. And it is difficult.
Yeah, I think that Flourish is losing that game at the moment. Over half the kills on the team has gotten close to dying once, and that was at a minute and a half in. I have not seen them dip below half in that time. Well, actually, no. Cosmic almost did get that solo kill at one point. Can't take that one away from the Giannis. But just doing so much damage, and Godlike's just unthinkable at some points. He is 24-2 through these two matches.
Yeah, it's definitely a spectacular performance coming out of Reyhum, and you know the team around him is playing seamlessly with him, and that's a really big deal, especially when you're on a pick like this Hopwa.
Not to be outdone though, Terminator gonna find a little bit of an answer back. It's a kill onto the Chernobog, and it's a good one. But on the other side of the map, Sun Wukong dropping low through space and time, gonna get Cosmic over there. One low health bar, but now there are two low health bars, might be non-existent health bars, and of course they will, in the duo lane, Reyhum with a double 15-0, and Seismic Shockwaves losing the fight, the Giannis doing a ton of damage on the back end. Demon now low HP, but with Cosmic here feeling a lot more confident and can't blame them. The Giannis hurts. SwagMaster still low sitting underneath the tower, but no through space and time means no surprise attacks. Giannis gonna be forced to back away. Sun Wukong should probably join them, and indeed now might fall off of the wave.
Yeah, you know, if you're Flourish here, you're sitting at about a 10k gold deficit. There's a 21 kill deficit, and there is a pretty massive experience deficit to go along with that, as you might infer from the prior two stats. Flourish really need to try and focus their farm here, and that's easy for me to say sitting up on the desk when you have a level 20 Habwa running around your jungle.
Like that old age-old saying, a lot easier said than done. And yeah, XP difference is crazy. A 6 level in mid should absolutely not be trifled with, and that's not going to make it any better. Reyhum with yet another kill, 16 now, FullOfShrimp. Gonna be the latest victim. If you're Bacchus, just save yourself. It's not gonna work. Oni Fury low. Bacchus trying to get through the wall. Might use the ultimate, and a touch too early. Seismic Shockwaves confirm it, and they get a kill on the back end. Have 17. Why not? Are we gonna see the 20 kill game from the Hebo? Might get to that point, but you wanted to see them get their farm up, and they're gonna do it. Pyromancer gonna fall to Flourish. And now, I need to know, because there's not pretty much anything I can see. If you're Flourish, how are you going to stop this Hebo? What has to happen in this next team fight?
So I'm gonna be realistic. If you're stopping Habwa here, you know, SWK is gonna have to stun him, and Giannis is gonna have to shotgun him through a wall very far out of reach. That's, you know, that's about the only way you're shutting him down at this point. He is level 20, nearly full build, while the highest member of Flourish right now is 18. If he gets off ult into multiple people, they are going to be either dead or close to. You're gonna have to kill him with the element of surprise, because frontal assault is not going to work well at this point.
Tough to work at any point against it. Giannis, seen them in a tough 1v2 situations more times than we can count, but a little bit of a pause coming out here. So we're going to jump back to the desk for just a minute, try and get a little bit more of a handle on what's going on. And obviously, we've been talking about it all game, because it's very, very hard not to. The Hebo's a problem. The Hebo's a big problem. What we really haven't mentioned a whole ton is everybody else on the Seismic Shockwaves. An equally big problem. Susanoo's been going crazy, the Chernobog has been wild, and on top of that, Geb, Ravana shields like crazy. Still haven't seen an erosion, I'm still caught up on it. But Ztan, there's a lot to change, specifically about the Hebo. What else has to? If you're Flourish, you're looking at a Phoenix defense, maybe a Fire Giant defense. In the next 2 minutes, if we're being generous, what do you have to do to make that successful? So might have to put a pin in that as Reyhum's arrived. Of course they have. Gonna find a little bit of damage. Forced out now. Waaav gonna be knocked up by the Typhoon. Gonna be put in the grave. Not the 18th this time though. Reyhum dropping low. It doesn't matter. Crushing Wave finds a kill. Will Terminator be the one to do it? Aegis out by the Hebo, and he does it. Reyhum falls. 18-1. Not gonna see 19 in a row. FullOfShrimp getting low though. Seismic Shockwaves are in trouble. ZakuZz gonna fall. SwagMaster picks up one. We wanted to see them answer, and we have. Terminator might fall, but not before picking up Ganondad. Susanoo down as well, and that is what you needed to see if you're a Flourish fan.
That is definitely a significant step in the correct direction. If you're going for Flourish here, you are very far from out of the woods. The kill onto the Habwa there is huge, but you know, as we mentioned a moment ago, Cataclysm's out now.
Ooh, Cataclysm's out. Kana, Seismic Shockwaves still looking to look down this third beacon. Not going to be locked down just yet as Gymkhana falls. Terminator gets one. Flourish continue on their revenge streak, and they're going to close with that final beacon. Got to be fun to have. Titan's going to be marching down that right side of the map in 1 minute out, so 25 and a half. We saw it last game. Seismic Shockwave used it to split push. Would love to see the same, and Cosmic's not going to be alive to see it. The crushing wave just does too much damage. Demon now with a good stun and a good slow as well. Reyhum looking a little low in HP, and Terminator's arrived. Divine Judgment gonna land onto the Hebo. Reyhum dropping low health. Terminator even lower. FullOfShrimp picks up a kill, but Flourish might pay. ZakuZz gonna get Demon. FullOfShrimp falling low as well. Is it gonna be SwagMaster? Is it gonna be ZakuZz? And it's gonna be the Chernobog. A triple for the back end. 8 and 2 on the ADC. Don't let the Hebo hog the limelight.
Yeah, you know, Fish, you mentioned going into the break, you know, we keep talking about the Waaav and, you know, his team. And that's kind of the problem with what Flourish are running into right now, is like, it's not just Waaav who's ahead. So, you know, yay, we killed the Waaav. Now we just have to worry about his remaining 4 teammates, who are also higher level than all of us. It's such a problem. You know, don't get me wrong, Reyhum's performance on this Waaav, 19, 2, and 9. That is an absurd number for any division, any comp set you want to talk about. But his team is performing so well around him. You know, you've got Susano at 7-2 and 17, Chernobog 8-2 and 11, Ravana 2-1 and 11. Like, it is a very synergized and very good team performance.
It really is, and you know what it reminds me of? It's like one of those pick your adventure books, but both options just get you killed. Like, you made the wrong step 3 pages ago, and you're really paying for it. And the Titan might be the one to punish them. Is this going to be the last turn, the last page turn here for Flourish? Seismic Shockwaves aren't looking to split this one. They're all grouped up, and they're going to be looking for blood. It's only 3 people on the right-hand side of the map. Frey joining them, but Nemesis split pushing. If it gets a tier 2 tower, it might be a good call, but the Phoenix is going to be the target here for Shockwaves. Terminator been having a good game, and they need them back. They're going to march right into the Phoenix. There goes the Titan. Here comes a team. SwagMaster into the back, going to get knocked up, and we're going to see a big 2-man Cataclysm. Geb getting some stuns. Now FullOfShrimp up in the skies, getting shut down. Great Aegis immunes a crushing wave, not for much longer. Reyhum gets a kill, Waaav dropping even lower. It's the 21st. Nemesis just now getting back to the base, but it might be too little too late. 2 more kills, a triple for the Hebo. Nemesis finds their way back, but the Titan about to be put in the dust. Terminator blinks. Terminator looks for a kill onto Ganondad, not going to find it. Drops as well. A Quadra, 1 away from the 24 kill penta. I guess 23 will have to suffice. Reyhum and the squad going to end this one in a 2-game fashion. What a set from the Shockwaves. I've got, I think, a little bit of constructive advice for any team that has to play the Shockwaves from now on. Schedule your games when Reyhum's not there. I think it actually might be the only way they get some wins. We thought the set looked unstoppable game 1. Wouldn't have believed you if it said it was going to be 23 and 2 in match number 2. You have to give respect to everyone from Shockwaves because they truly played an incredible game, each and every one of them, but I just don't know how you get past that. 36,000 damage. Not to be outdone though, look at the rest of the team. 25 each from the ADC and the solo, another 20 from the jungler. As easy as it is to focus in on one person, this was truly a team win from the Seismic Shockwaves.
And a convincing one at that. It was an extremely convincing win. And, you know, if I'm some of these other Divine teams, I'm potentially looking at Shockwaves with a little bit of fear headed into the playoffs territory.
probably one way to put it. I'd be looking with a lot more than fear, and that if you have to face up against him in round 1, that's going to be a tough blow. But you know, we got a lot of good teams here, a lot of good players. All of them are going to be up for the challenge. Speaking about up for the challenge, Flourish now running into a little bit of trouble as late, but I think we said it going into game 2. They're a good team, they're smart players, they know what they have to do to get themselves back online. I think we speak for everyone here, and we want to see them bounce back. We want to see them going into this playoffs strong, but they don't have much time to do it. Of course, just a few more weeks until those playoffs arrive.
I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Gonna be exciting, coming down to the wire now. So that's gonna about do it for us today. And of course, I've been KingFsher along with Ztan. We've had iNooblet on camera, on production. As always, make sure to give him some thanks. And that's gonna do it for us here. We'll see you next time, Week 7 on the Smite Draft League.